Well, it seems like you guys really enjoyed some of the new content ideas on the channel. Just a couple of days ago, I made a video about tracking Manchester United for 5 full seasons after they made all their new signings. We tracked a total of 5 categories at Manchester United every single year. Their league position, the trophies won, the amount of money spent on transfers, the amount of money earned from transfers, and their total net spend. Positive or negative. And you guys poured into the comments asking for so many other clubs to do this with. So today we're going to be tracking a club that spent an outrageous amounts of money during this transfer window. They brought in incredible players from many positions on the field. Their squad looks absolutely stacked, and they are one of the heavy favorites to not only win the Premier League, but also do well in the Champions League too. Of course, that is the club that you are thinking of. It is Liverpool. This is what the Liverpool starting 11 looks like now. After bringing in Milos Kerkez as the left back, Jeremy Frimpong on the right, Florian Wirtz down the middle, and of course the controversial transfer of Alexander Isak from Newcastle. They still have the likes of Cody Gakpo and Mo Salah, Alexis McAllister, Ryan Gravenberch, Virgil van Dijk, Konate, and Alisson in between the sticks. And even their bench is absolutely incredible. Ekitike is the backup striker for Alexander Isak. Jones is there, Endo, Chiesa, Soboslai, Robertson, and Gomez. With a few very exciting players in the reserves. Georgi Mamardashvili as the backup goalkeeper, Woodman, Leone, Rio Ngomua, who scored the match winner, if you remember that, Nioni, Davies, and Bradley. This current team is really as good as it gets. It is strong. They have an extremely deep bench, so failure is really not an option here. We are at the start of the 25-26 Premier League campaign, and this is where our journey of tracking Liverpool for 5 full seasons begins. Their Premier League position, how they do in Europe, how many trophies will they win, how much money will they spend on transfers, how much money will they earn from transfers, and ultimately their net spent, plus or minus. And remember guys, if you missed the Manchester United video, I have absolutely no control of what Liverpool does. Let the fun begin. Off to the end of 25-26 we go. Will Liverpool be successful? So how did Liverpool fare at the end of the 25-26 campaign in the Prem? Well, they won it, my friends, on 91 points, 10 points clear of everyone else. 29-4-5. They scored 76 goals, 10 points clear of Man City, who had 81 points, and Arsenal also had 81 points in third. Chelsea in fourth. Newcastle, without Isak, finished in fifth. Then it is Villa, Man United, and Spurs. Sunderland, what a campaign, finishing in ninth. West Ham is there. Burnley survives. Leeds survive. Brighton, Bournemouth, and Brentford. They are the 3 clubs that go down. And Brentford was actually terrible. They only won 2 matches. So Liverpool is off to a fantastic start, guys. But there's still 2 more trophies in England. We are going to the FA Cup now. Could they win that one as well? They start in round 3, beating Hull City 2-1, advancing to round 4. In round 4, Liverpool, where is Liverpool? Liverpool, where are you? They beat Fulham 3-2, narrowly advancing to round 5. In round 5, taking care of business against Ipswich Town 4-1, going to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, where they faced Manchester City, and they lost to Manchester City, guys. Ultimately, it was Coventry City that went all the way to the FA Cup final, but Newcastle won it. So Wisa joins Newcastle and gets them an FA Cup in 25-26. And the third trophy in England, the Carabao Cup. Liverpool still had a fantastic season already. They won the Premier League. They won against West Ham in round 3 of the Carabao Cup to get to round 4. In round 4, Liverpool, they beat Ipswich Town on penalties 3-2 to advance to the quarterfinals, where they lost to Wolves. That's a bit underwhelming. I didn't expect Liverpool to lose to Wolves. Maybe they didn't take the competition as seriously because they still have Champions League football. The semi-finals of the Carabao Cup were Villa versus City and Forest versus Wolves. Aston Villa versus Nottingham Forest. Aston Villa, Carabao Cup winners. Liverpool 1-3 in England, but they still have the UCL. How did they do in the UCL? You know what? They're not in the top 8 of the Champions League. Where are they? Where is Liverpool? Liverpool? Only 21st. 2-4-2 on 10 points. It's only a playoff. Bayer Leverkusen completely missed out. Spurs missed out. They didn't make it. They finished 28th. So Liverpool go to the playoff, where they face Villarreal, and they beat Villarreal to get to the round of 16, 4-2 on aggregate. In the round of 16, Liverpool faced Athletic Club Bilbao, 5-2 on aggregate for Liverpool, going to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. It's a pretty good run. Then they beat Bayern Munich in the quarterfinals of the UCL to get to the semifinals. In the semifinals, they lost to Real Madrid on penalties. It's a heartbreaker. It's a great run, but it's a heartbreaker. The final and all Spanish one, Madrid versus Barca, Real Madrid Champions League winners. 4 possible trophies in the 25-26 season for Liverpool. They win one of them, the Premier League, and made a very, very deep run where I guess you could say they were a bit unlucky in the UCL. We go to category number 3, the money spent by Liverpool. How many transfers did they make? I made sure to disable the summer transfer window, so only the January transfer window was open, and Liverpool brought in some midfield reinforcements. They only made one signing, and that is Granit Xhaka from Sunderland for 39.7 million. I guess a bit of experience. And category number 4, money earned from transfers. Who did they sell in the January transfer window? They didn't really do much. Owen Beck on loan to Nantes, and Luis Kumas they sold to Lazio for only 3.8 million. They kept their entire squad. This means the 5th category, their net spend minus or plus Liverpool for the 25-26 campaign is at minus 35.9 million, but it was a pretty dull transfer window. They didn't really do anything. Before we go to 26-27, I do want to see how Liverpool players fared in the 25-26 season. Yo, Alexander Isak, 27 goals and 12 assists. Look at Florian Wirtz, 27-7. Cody Gakpo had a phenomenal year. Mo Salah didn't contribute as much as maybe he should have, but still really quality. Granit Xhaka came in and did a solid job. Gravenberch in the middle, 2 goals and 7 assists. Frimpong, solid. Konate, Robertson, everybody played. You guys can see everyone stayed at the club. The squad heading into the 26-27 Liverpool campaign, it remains unchanged. The only addition was Granit Xhaka, as we saw, and also a couple of their youngins came back from loan, like Scanlon, Stevenson, Bajcetic, Chambers, Loris, Gordon. Ultimately, the expectation with the squad heading into the 26-27 season is probably improve on the 25-26 campaign, where they only won the Premier League. Can they win the UCL? Can they do the double maybe? More than one trophy. 26-27, the entire season is over. We are going right back to the Premier League. Could Liverpool become back-to-back Premier League winners? Manchester City actually outdid them by a single point in 26-27. They still had a wonderful campaign. They only lost 2 matches. They lost the least amount of matches out of all the clubs. Man City 83 points, Liverpool 82 points. Spurs had a great improvement, finishing in 3rd. Then it is Villa, Arsenal, Newcastle, Chelsea, and Manchester United. Forest, Burnley, and Leeds continue to stay up in the Premier League. Palace and Sunderland also stay up. There goes the 3 newly promoted sides. It was Southampton, Middlesbrough, and Birmingham City that came up, and they're all going down. They were all terrible. Everton actually was also quite bad. They only had 26 points, but the only reason they stood up is because there was 3 clubs that were much worse. All right, so a bit of a stumble for Liverpool in the 26-27 Premier League campaign. They failed to win the league, but 2 more trophies are available in England. We start in round 3 of the FA Cup, where they beat West Brom 3-2. Advancing to round 4. Liverpool 4-1 over Brighton, advancing to round 5. Having a pretty good campaign, beating Leeds United in round 5 2-1, going to round 6 of the FA Cup, and they beat Spurs in round 6 of the FA Cup to get to the semi-finals of the FA Cup, where they took care of business against the relegated side in Southampton. Sheffield Wednesday, FA Cup semi-finals. It was Liverpool versus West Ham, and there is another trophy for Liverpool. They win the FA Cup. They don't win the league, but at least they got the cup in England. 1 for 2 for Liverpool in England in the 26-27 season. The Carabao Cup is still available. We are going to round 3 of the Carabao Cup, where they narrowly got by Bristol Rovers on penalties, advancing to round 4. Liverpool, who did they face? Aston Villa, a tougher opponent, clean sheet, 2-0, going to the quarterfinals against Manchester City, and they beat Man City on penalties in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup, advancing to the semis, where they beat Coventry City, semi-finalists of the Carabao Cup. Liverpool was no match though. I mean, 8-2 on aggregate, not even close. They went to the final against Spurs, and they beat Spurs on penalties. FA Cup winners, Carabao Cup winners, Liverpool in 26-27. They don't win the league, but they win both cups, guys. So they've already won more trophies in the 26-27 season versus the 25-26 season, but they still got the Champions League. In the UCL, they finished 3rd in the league phase phase going undefeated. Only Real Madrid did the same thing on 18 points, advancing automatically to the round of 16, where they lost to Roma in the round of 16. Dude, nah, come on, man. You can't lose to Roma after having that good of a league phase. Your Champions League final, it was Atletico Madrid versus PSG, and Paris Saint-Germain won another UCL. So domestically in the 26-27 season, Liverpool do quite well, I would say, winning 2 cups, no Premier League. But on the international club level, the Champions League, they fall short to Roma. How did you lose to Roma, guys? We go to everyone's favorite part, the money and the players. Who did Liverpool buy in the 26-27 season? Honestly, they didn't do a lot of business. They don't need to do a lot of business. They bought Chris Rigg from Sunderland, a promising young kid, for only 8 million, and they bought Max Dowman from Arsenal for 5 million, totaling only 13 million spent. And the outgoings, this is where they cashed in. Federico Chiesa to Napoli for 40.8 million. They sold Georgi Mamardashvili to Aston Villa for 88.9 million, guys, and they loaned out Bajcetic to Randers. In the 26-27 season, Liverpool earned 129.7 million, and their net minus plus ratio was plus 116.7 million for the club in profit. Sadly, they didn't win the Premier League or the Champions League, but they still won 2 cups. And how did the players do? Well, Florian Wirtz is now 93 overall, 34 goals and 12 assists. Cody Gakpo popped off, 26-9. Alexander Isak, 25-17. Mo Salah is still contributing. Look at Milos Kerkez, 8 goals and 6 assists as a left back. Granit Xhaka, he's still here, 81 overall, 34 years of age, 6-6. McAllister did well. Gravenberg did well. Konate and Virgil van Dijk still playing. Szoboszlai is playing. Ekitike is not playing that much, but that is obviously because they have Alexander Isak, who's just a complete monster now. 27-28, the beginning of tracking Liverpool for the 3rd straight year. Look at the starting 11, guys. I mean, come on. It remains unchanged. The bench is strong. Endo and Xhaka are decreasing just a little bit, but I think this is where the future lies. It is Rio and Gamoa, who's now 75 overall. Rigg is 75 overall, only at 20 years old, and Max Dowman, who's 72 overall at 17 years old. This is the future. Solid recruitment by Liverpool. The bench is strong. The young kids are promising, but can they continue to grow? Can they win the Premier League once again and finally lift a UCL trophy? 27-28. We're in the 3rd season of tracking Liverpool. How did they do in the Premier League? Guys, they didn't win the Premier League. This is probably their most disappointing campaign yet. They finished in 4th place. Arsenal actually won the league. Finally, 10 points clear of Man City. Chelsea is in 3rd. Liverpool tied with Chelsea on points, but Chelsea had a better goal difference. Spurs in 5th. Leeds United. Excuse me, guys. Hello, a top 6 finish. Then it's Villa. Then it is Newcastle United, West Ham, Palace, and Brighton. Man United slipped all the way to 12th. Who stayed up? Bournemouth and Everton stayed up. Burnley, Brentford, and finally Sunderland go down. Burnley and Brentford, not very good. Sunderland was even worse. So in the 27-28 campaign, after winning the league, then finishing in 2nd, Liverpool finishes in 4th. We go to the FA Cup in the 27-28 season. In round 3, Liverpool get by Portsmouth 1-0 to get to round 4. In round 4, they faced Lincoln City 3-0, pretty convincing. Get to round 5. Liverpool in round 5, a tougher opponent, Chelsea, but they win 2-1 to get to the quarterfinals. In the quarterfinals, they beat Nottingham Forest, guys, also 2-1 to get to the semifinals of the FA Cup, where they beat Manchester United, and Luton Town made a semi-cup appearance, losing to Arsenal though. In the final, Liverpool versus Arsenal, yet another cup for Liverpool, yet another trophy for Liverpool, but again, it's a cup. Yet 3 seasons in a row now, Liverpool is not leaving trophyless. They win at least a trophy a year. We're off to the Carabao Cup next. The Carabao Cup, round 3, a tough opponent. It was Chelsea, and Liverpool get by Chelsea to get to round 4. Then they face Everton. They beat Everton 1-0 to get to the quarterfinals. Then they beat Aston Villa 2-1. A superb run so far to get to the semifinals. They beat Manchester United once again in the semifinals on aggregate 3-0. And they gotta face Arsenal again. But Arsenal gets their revenge in the Carabao Cup, beating Liverpool. So a 4th place finish, an FA Cup, and a final of the Carabao Cup in England for Liverpool in the 27-28 season. Pretty decent, I would say, but no league. One more possible trophy, the Champions League. Can Liverpool get over the hump? Guys, they go undefeated in the league phase once again, finishing in 4th, 5 wins and 3 draws. Besiktas actually also went undefeated. They made the UCL, my goodness. So Liverpool go to the round of 16. Who did they face in the round of 16? They faced Stade Rennais. 9-4 on aggregate. Oh my gosh, just the total annihilation. They get to the quarterfinals. In the quarterfinals, they faced Aston Villa, an English counterpart. 4-1 on aggregate against Aston Villa, going to the semi-finals of the Champions League. They've been there before. They lost in the semi-final again. 5-2 on aggregate to Dortmund, and Roma made the final, and Dortmund won the Champions League 2-0 over Roma. So in the 27-28 campaign for Liverpool, man, it was a good season. Maybe a bit disappointing in the Prem, but they won a cup, then another cup final, and a Champions League semi-final. There's just something, just a little bit of something just missing, you know what I mean? Let's look at the incomings, a total of 3 players, a couple of big ones. Jonathan Tah from Bayern Munich, 70.4 million. Kai Havertz, who was an AC Milan player, I guess Arsenal sold him. Liverpool brought him back to the Premier League for 54.8 million, and they bought Konstantinos Karetsas from Genk, I guess a promising young gun, for 16.3 million. Spending the most we've seen Liverpool spend so far, 141.5 million, some experienced players, and still investing in the future. And now the sales, guys, in the 27-28 season. Wow, they sold a lot of players. Alexis McAllister to Borussia Dortmund, 109.9 million. That is a massive deal. Dominik Szoboszlai is gone to Atletico Madrid for 64.8 million. There goes Andrew Robertson to Villarreal for only 17 million. Milos Kerkez to Arsenal for 99.2 million, and Hugo Ekitike has also been sold to Arsenal for 96.3 million. Why did they sell all of these players? A total of 387.2 million in sales, which gave Liverpool a total profit of 245.7 million for the 27-28 season. I mean, I guess the positive thing is the club is staying profitable, but will this insane profit margin transfer into trophies? Maybe the ownership is happy winning 1 trophy a year. They won 4 trophies in 3 seasons so far, and Alexander Isak in the 27-28 campaign popped off once again. 33 goals and 14 assists. Florian Wirtz was fantastic. Cody Gakpo was fantastic. Granit Xhaka actually stepped up, while Mo Salah is declining. He's now 82 overall at 35 years old. Kai Havertz did come in, and he scored 5 goals in 9 appearances. You can see that Liverpool is now playing Owen Beck as the left back because Andrew Robertson and Kerkez were both sold. And Virgil van Dijk is 36 years old. He is declining. I guess this is why they brought in Jonathan Tah. He is only 32. He's 4 years younger. And he played way more matches than Virgil van Dijk. 28-29. This is what the Liverpool squad looks like. It is still very strong, but I think they need a couple of upgrades. Hopefully in this season, they use the money that they made on some good signings. Yes, they still have Alexander Isak and Wirtz and Cody Gakpo, Gravenberch. They're all in the prime of their career, but Salah is aging. They sold McAllister, so it's Granit Xhaka who's also aging. Jonathan Tah and Konate, I don't mind that pairing whatsoever. Frimpong is quality. They also need a better starting left back. The bench is still strong. It's Van Dijk, it's Havertz, it's Jones, it's Gomez, but you can see that they are relying on the youngsters now. Rio and Gomoa is on the bench, Bradley, Rig, Endo is still there, and Karetsas. While in the reserves, you have the likes of Leone and Max Dowman, Chambers, Norris, Scanlon, Woodman is still in the reserves, Stevenson, Gordon, Williams, and Dans. Yeah, if they go into the 28-29 season with this exact squad and don't upgrade, I don't see them doing too well. I think they need to do some stuff in the transfer market. Let's see what happened to Liverpool at the end of the 28-29 season. I'm going to tell you right now, they did not win the league, but they had a high place finish. Manchester City won the league, guys, on 82 points. Chelsea right behind them on 76, and Liverpool in 3rd on 72, scoring 66 goals. Then it's Arsenal, then it is West Ham and Palace and Fulham. Then it is Aston Villa. Newcastle, Leeds United, they stayed up. Spurs and Manchester United, 12th and 13th. What a drop-off. Bournemouth stayed up. Everton stayed up. Southampton, Coventry City, and Norwich are the 3 promoted clubs, and they were terrible once again. Southampton, 2 wins once again. It's just so bad. Yet another season goes by, and Liverpool does not win the Premier League. Only once out of the last 4 seasons they've won it. We go to the FA Cup in the 28-29 season. Liverpool wins over Watford 4-0. In round 4, Liverpool loses to Accrington Stanley on penalties, and there they go out of the FA Cup. It's a super early exit. Who won the FA Cup? Manchester City 2-1 over Brighton. Liverpool versus Watford in the Carabao Cup round 3. They beat Watford. Round 4, Liverpool played Huddersfield 2-1 over Huddersfield. Quarterfinals, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest. They beat Nottingham Forest 3-2. Into the semis they go, where they faced Swansea, but on aggregate they absolutely destroyed Swansea 7-1. And Bournemouth went to the Carabao Cup final as well, so it was Liverpool versus Bournemouth. Liverpool beats Bournemouth on penalties. They win another trophy for the 4th straight year. They somehow keep on doing it, guys, and Bournemouth were so close to winning a trophy. So close. Now Liverpool in the 28-29 season didn't play Champions League football. Remember, they finished in 4th, which they should have qualified, but they didn't, so they went into the Europa League instead. In the league phase of the Europa League, they finished top, 7 wins and a draw, 22 points, miles ahead of everyone else. They went into the round of 16. Who did they play in the round of 16? Braga, 2-0, 4-3 on aggregate, advancing to the quarterfinals of the Europa League, where they faced Shakhtar Donetsk. Yet another victory on aggregate, 2-1, advancing to the semifinals of the Europa League. In the semifinals, they beat Napoli 4-3 on aggregate, and they faced Monaco. Liverpool versus Monaco for the Europa League trophy. Unacceptable. This is unacceptable. Liverpool lose the Europa League final in the 28-29 season. 4 possible trophies once again, and they win only one, the Carabao Cup. The incomings, money spent by Liverpool in the 28-29 campaign. Guys, this is very disappointing. They only made 1 signing. Diogo Dalot, who was at Real Madrid, came to Liverpool for 34.5 million. That's the only transfer that they made. I guess really investing in the youth or something? I don't know. And the outgoings, the same thing, guys. They only sold 1 player, and it is Connor Bradley to Besiktas for 29.5 million. We said that they needed to upgrade on their left back. They needed another midfielder, but they didn't do any of that. They stuck with the squad that they had. So they spent 34.5 million. They received 29.5 million. Their net spent minus plus was minus 5 million in the 28-29 season. Who was putting in the goals? Once again, Alexander Isak, 29 goals and 20 assists, guys. What a season. Florian Wirtz, 28 and 10. Mo Salah, he's dropping, but he's still performing. Cody Gakpo, still playing very well. Gravenberch, Owen Beck was involved heavily. So was Granit Xhaka. They need to replace him now. 76 overall, 36 years of age. This can't continue, can it? Curtis Jones was more involved. Kai Havertz didn't play a lot, actually. Only 6 appearances, scored 3 goals, mainly in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. Bajcetic did come back from loan, so he was rotated in the Premier League and in the Europa League. Frimpong is still playing. Konate is still playing. Dalot played 21 matches. Jonathan Tah is still starting. And Joe Gomez made a few appearances as well. Oh, I missed one more signing, guys. They brought this guy on a free. Vigo Gebel, 21 years of age. He didn't have a face. He's 76 overall. Played 11 Premier League matches. He's a cam. And yeah, Alisson is still the goalkeeper. 36 years old. He's still 87 overall. I don't think they need to replace him if he's performing that well. We are heading into the last year of tracking Liverpool, the 2029-2030 campaign, and this is what they look like. They need some upgrades. Yeah, they still have Isak and Wirtz and Gakpo. Those are fantastic, but they need a new left back. Beck, 77 rated, is just not good enough. They need to replace Salah as well. Only 77 overall, and for sure they need to replace Granit Xhaka in the midfield. I mean, I guess we can throw Bajcetic on the bench. He can be the replacement for Granit Xhaka, but even Bajcetic at only 77 overall is not good enough to start beside Gravenberch. The depth is for sure there. I like the approach of having a bunch of young wonder kids in your squad, but they need some more quality in the starting 11. All right, Liverpool, this is your last opportunity. We are at at the end of the 29-20-30 campaign in the Premier League. This is the worst finish for Liverpool we've ever seen so far, in 5th place behind Manchester City, who ran away with it completely. Man United made a huge comeback. Then it's Chelsea, Arsenal, and then it is Liverpool. Brighton, Aston Villa, and Leeds United rounded off the top 8. Man, Leeds United have been very good this entire time, and Brighton, a 6th place finish. That is impressive. Spurs climbed up to 9th. Newcastle in 11th, not that great. Bournemouth stayed up. West Ham and Fulham stayed up. Sunderland stayed up. Burnley, Middlesbrough, and Everton. Everton go down, guys, in the 29-20-30 season. They're gone. It has been such a drop-off for Liverpool over the last couple of years, but they still manage to win a trophy every year. They don't win the Premier League, but we're going to the FA Cup now. Can they win the FA Cup? Let's see where they are. Against Nottingham Forest, 3-2, a win to get to round 4. Liverpool, who are they facing? Fulham, 2-0 over Fulham, get into round 5 of the FA Cup. In round 5, it's 3-1 against West Ham. They get to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, where they beat Arsenal on penalties and get to the semi-finals. They beat Wolves in the semi-finals, while the other semi-final was Burnley versus Birmingham City. So it was Liverpool versus Burnley, and Liverpool still managed to win a trophy. They win the FA Cup, guys. They win another one. It seems like even when they're down, they're still not out and manage to win something. So we go to the Carabao Cup. Liverpool versus Crystal Palace in round 3. They beat Crystal Palace to get to round 4. In round 4, where is Liverpool? They lost to Hull City in round 4 of the Carabao Cup, and they are out. And your eventual winner, Brighton. Brighton won the Carabao Cup in the 2029-2030 season. One more trophy, the Champions League. Can they win it? They finish in 4th in the league phase. It's a good campaign. Chelsea, Arsenal, Barca, then it's Liverpool, then it's Celtic. Wow, Celtic. Okay, and Frankfurt actually gotten into the top 8. So Liverpool go into the round of 16. They destroy Slavia Praha, a favorable opponent, 9-4 on aggregate. They go into the quarterfinals, and their journey ends in the quarterfinals because they had to play Real Madrid, losing narrowly 5-4 on aggregate. Then your final was PSG versus Real Madrid, and PSG did it again. They won the UCL. So Liverpool in the 2029-2030 season, they go 1-4 once again, but they still managed to win something. Did they do what we begged them to do, to get in some fresh new players? They did. They did, guys. Mosquera from Arsenal, a new center back / right back to Liverpool for 55.9 million. And they did bring in a new left back. It is Maxime De Kuyper from Borussia Mönchengladbach for 42.2 million. But what they didn't manage to do is bring in another quality midfielder to partner up with Gravenberch. I think they really needed that one. They spent a total of 98.1 million on 2 transfers. Well, that explains it all. Their outgoings, their player sales in the 2029-2030 season. They sold only one player, and it was Jonathan Tah to Atalanta for 82.9 million. That's why they brought in Mosquera to replace Jonathan Tah, which ultimately made their net spend at minus 15.2 million for the year. It's really not that much, so they didn't do a lot of business. 5 full seasons of tracking Liverpool, guys. How did you think they did? 6 trophies in 5 years. Don't forget that. They only won the Premier League once, but 6 trophies in 5 years is still 6 trophies in 5 years. And they did it all while staying very good in the finance department. Over the 5 years, and let me read this out to you, they spent a total of 326.8 million on transfers. They earned 633.1 million off transfers, which means over the last 5 seasons, they had a net profit at the club from the transfers, from the incomings and outgoings, 306.3 million in profit. So the club profited over 300 million in 5 seasons while winning 6 trophies. I think you would call that success. Unfortunately, there wasn't too many Premier Leagues and there was no European titles. They came close a few times. But hey, you guys let me know what you think in the comments. How do you think they did? Rate Liverpool's performance over these 5 seasons. And also let me know what other club you'd like to see this with. Please make sure to hit the like button if you do enjoy these types of videos, guys. It takes a while to make them, so I would really appreciate your support. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button with the little noti bell so you don't miss out on any future videos on the channel. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, stay happy, stay healthy, always keep smiling. I hope you truly enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, peace, 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 peace. I love you as always. Peace.